Castle Mead Radio.
10:34 on Castle Mead Radio, and of course it's Paul Gardner's open house in association with Alison's Aid of Burbage, Barclay Knight Associates and How We Used to Tea. Now, normally we'd be finished at 10:30, but this morning it's all changed here at Castle Mead Radio because we've got a special guest who's come in to talk about the saving of the Regent Theatre Cinema in Regent Street. Now, it's not as we expected. We expected Darren to be here this morning, Darren Brown of Indigo Homes of Regent Street. He's not here. He's suddenly been whisked away on important business. We hope that's probably a good omen. But in his place is Peter Lea. Good morning, Peter.
Morning, Paul.
Nice to have you here at Castle Mead Radio.
Here, yeah.
Okay, now I only met you yesterday, didn't I?
That's very true.
Yes, very true. And you were full of facts and figures, all about the building in question. So, as I say, the reason you're here today is because you and a group of local people trying to save the Regent Cinema. Some people know it as Flutters, or if you're my age, the Gaumont.
And before that, the Regent.
And the Regent, of course. So it closed in 1968, and it closed as a bingo hall in June last year. So when did you first hear that the building could possibly be demolished?
About 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm a local cinema historian as well.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
I did find out through the Cinema Theatre Association, which I'm also an active member of, and we knew that the building was in danger. And then I teamed up with Darren last week when I heard there was an action group being formed, and here we are.
Excellent indeed. Now, of course, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, when I first read the Hinckley Times a couple of weeks ago to see this, even I was stirred into action because being a bit of a local lad, and I just couldn't believe that they wanted to knock it down, which is at the moment for a proposed lowly car park.
Yeah, apparently it's 38 car parking spaces.
I just find that quite amazing.
It is really,
for that, and I think it's such a shame, but it's not like the building was going to be replaced with something a little bit more special, or
this is true,
or anything.
And as it's quite an interesting building from a cinema point of view as well, it is the last remaining intact example of a Horace Bradley, who was the architect, cinema that's left in existence in the UK.
I mean, surely that should help.
Yeah, and obviously it's such a shame if it was knocked down. And the building has got potential for so much use. It's multifunctional hall to be used for the local community of Hinckley. And that's why we've put the action group together to try and save it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, personally, as a sort of a historian in this sort of thing, I mean, obviously, I know you're going to say yes, it's definitely worth saving. What are the things about it that really say this building needs, save it? What's so special?
It was originally built as the gateway to the new Hinckley Town Centre in 1928/29 when it opened. It's quite interesting that it is actually its 85th anniversary.
Yeah.
The cinema actually opened on the 11th of March 1929.
Fantastic.
Originally as a theatre, the first show was actually a 3-day live stage show. It was called The Adventures of Applejohn, and the first film shown was The Student Prince on the 14th of March, 3 days later.
Yeah, really?
So it was actually built as a multifunctional theatre.
Yeah.
Most of that is actually still intact stage-wise. A lot of the fixings are still there, and it just takes a little bit of work to remove it.
This amazed me. Yes, yesterday.
It's been encapsulated in time for many years. I mean, the work that they've done while it's been a bingo club has been great because in a funny sort of way it's preserved the building.
Exactly, yeah.
But now we've got to a point where obviously bingo isn't paying and the owners are moving on.
Yes.
So we're going to try and bring it back to life.
I was amazed with the how much stage room there really is, because at the front it's been sort of petitioned 3/4 of the way just to have a shallow stage at the front, and there it was yesterday behind stage, and I could instantly think, wow, this is fantastic. And obviously,
and it's got 5 dressing rooms as well.
I didn't know they were there till I seen them yesterday. Just for the benefit of our listeners, by the way, if you go to the Castle Mead Radio website, you'll find some lovely pictures which Amethyst Photography have kindly let us publish, and there is loads of photographs on there. That's castlemeadradio.co.uk. Go along there and look at some of the fantastic pictures that we've put up there. Now, what sort of people are we looking that can help here, Peter?
At the moment, we're looking for people with money money, someone that might be able to back the thing.
Yeah.
We're trying to raise, obviously, some money to purchase the building on behalf of the townspeople. So if there are any rich businessmen out there that would like to get involved, great.
Exactly.
But obviously you can imagine the scale of such an operation like this. There's people with all sorts of knowledge that we could draw off. If you want to help, come down and make yourself known.
Yes, maybe they'd like to leave a bit of a legacy of themselves to say we help save the region. Now then, I think we've got to stress really, time is of the essence here now, isn't it,
Yes,
Peter?
it certainly is. I believe it is going to planning again within the next couple of weeks, and the building is scheduled for demolition, so or part of the building is. I think we're trying to, one of the plans, they're trying to retain the front edifice of the building and the entrance, but the auditorium part of it will be knocked down.
Well, this is what amazed me, because I mean, as much as I like the outside of the building, it wasn't till yesterday when I went in and had a close look round with yourself that I realised the actual real interesting architecture is actually in the auditorium.
Correct,
isn't it?
Yeah. And it's quite an elaborate design. And as
Fantastic.
I said previously, you know, Horace Bradley, who was the architect, was a leading designer. He designed over 20 cinemas in and around the Birmingham area, Leamington Spa, Tamworth. And this is the last surviving intact example of his work. And as I say, it should be preserved as well. But obviously we've got to come into the modern times and keep the old with the new and mix the two together, and I'm sure it could work quite well.
Yeah, I know. I mean, now some people, I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Some people would say, well, it's an old building, it's looking a bit worn, let's just do away with it. What would be your answer to that, Peter?
I would argue that point. The building structurally is in quite good condition. The owners of it for the last 20 odd years have looked after it fantastic. It could do with a lick of paint, and perhaps, you know, bingo clubs are designed to be bright and leery.
Yes.
So in reinstating the decor inside back to something of its original and incorporating modern technology with that, I'm sure it'd be a fantastic building.
Yeah, I mean, some people have said, well, look, we've got the Concordia Theatre and things like that, but we've got to stress this is something totally different.
Oh, yeah, nobody's trying to compete with Concordia or like places. You know, this has got potential all of its own for many uses. I
mean, it's been suggested it could be used like different sorts of the community, from say tea dances, dance school shows, arts, school proms, live bands and concerts, to name but a few. It'd be the sort of building that would be almost used on a daily basis.
Correct.
By all of the community.
That's right. And with other things that we're interested in, doing specialist film shows, specialist stage shows, etc. There's a fantastic opportunity there, and there will always something different be going on at the Regent, which is what you need.
Absolutely great. I mean, I know that the Hinckley Times came to see us yesterday when I was down there, and that went down very well. And I was asked about my personal memories of going down there and watching the latest Batman film. I remember the last time I went in there. But what a great place it was. And I was trying to explain to Harriet, the reporter, a young reporter, very nice. And I was saying, you got to remember, in our days, everything was black and white. I said we had 2 television channels, they were black and white. Everything was black and white as such, but you came into a cinema and such as the Gaumont, the Regent, and all of a sudden you was in this colour, this fantastic technical place where, and the architecture, it just made such a special place to sit and watch a film.
That's right.
And it was just fantastic. And I suppose really this could be probably lost on our younger people who, I mean, they go off to these multiplexes and stuff. But we are talking about saving the architecture and putting that building to good use, rather than it being reduced to a pile of rubble.
Absolutely. And obviously incorporated modern technology when it's done. So you've got state-of-the-art equipment installed with...
It'd be absolutely fantastic, isn't it? You know. Yeah. So I mean, Hinckley over the years has lost some iconic buildings. I mean, it's lost its factories, its industry, lost all of its cinemas over time, which is a shame, you know.
That's right.
And of course, this would be different because we have to stress, like I say, the plan is to make it for the whole community use.
That's correct. Yes.
Because I can't think of any function facilities in town anymore.
Absolutely. I can't think of any either, and it's perfect venue for it.
You know, nice central. People might say about, well, what about car parking then? But apparently another car park is planned. Is that right? Can I put you on the spot for that, Peter?
I've only been told that.
Yep, that's a rumour.
I can't verify it, but yeah.
Okay, let's just leave it at that. I understand, yeah.
But even for the sake of 38 car parking spaces, to lose such a wonderful building for that amount of car parking spaces, and there are already car parks adjacent to the building anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So
some of the happy memories of there, by the way, when the Gaumont was still in existence, and also the Danilo, that we had, they had the Saturday morning club, and I think I was telling you yesterday my memories of that the one at the Regent, the Gaumont, was the best one to go to. It just seemed to be, this is the one you want to go to. The Danilo ones, it's okay, but it's not as good as this one. And we used to queue right from the front on the corner there, all the way back and round into the bus station.
That's right.
All those kids on a Saturday morning. You know, and since, well, as I say, a lot of people said, is it worth saving? Well, I think just from the point of view of the architecture and stuff, and the history which you've managed to fill in for me, because I didn't know that this is the last remaining example. Yeah,
and obviously when the cinema closed in 1968, it had actually transferred to Classic Cinemas, and Classic Cinemas actually took over the Danilo as well. And when they took the Danilo in 68, they closed the Regent. And the last film was shown in June 1968, which was The Castle of Terror, starring Christopher Lee on the Sunday night.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, the interesting thing is, and I think you were saying to me yesterday, that the various cinema companies, like I say, you've got the Gaumont, you've got the Danilo, and all that, because we've got a bit of East meets West.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I mean, as I've just stated, it was took over by Classic in 67, and when they took the Danilo in 68, they closed the Regent, or the Gaumont as most people might know it. But there was also an Odeon cinema in Hinckley at the top of the borough.
That's right.
Which was owned by the Rank organisation, and Gaumont was also the other trading name for the Rank organisation.
Wow.
So they kept the Beth Theatre open, and they closed the Odeon cinema, which was in need of major work, in 1961, and the Gaumont survived.
Wow, I see.
And that's how it all came about.
I mean, it's fantastic when you think that that in Hinckley that we had these these cinemas and theatres that we did have. I mean, you'll probably correct me now, but I know that in new buildings we had the Palladium, which was, of course, the Palladium, which was also a roller skating rink at one stage, and also was eventually turned into Lawrence's Superstore, which a lot of our listeners will remember very well. The first supermarket in Hinckley that was, and what a tremendous place that was too. And like I say, it's obviously so. I suppose cinemas and these sort of buildings always seem to have been important to Hinckley anyway, and it'd just be great. If you think that, respectfully, the fantastic work they do at the Concordia Theatre, how they got their project off the ground in 1970 to what it is today, which is fantastic. Why can't we have something in a similar thing, but for a different sort of service to the town?
And this building will be for the people of Hinckley and the surrounding area, and it's a focal point of the town, and it's a place for people to come and meet as well. It's a social aspect of it all.
Absolutely fantastic. And of course, talking of, the social media itself. I mean, Facebook has been buzzing of Facebook, and we've been trying to support this in every way. So, what's the way forward now? I mean, we've got 10 days, basically, to either buy some more time is probably the thing before the bulldozers could possibly move in.
Could technically move in within that time frame, but we're looking for financial backers. We're trying to get a scheme together to sort of try and purchase the building for the people of Hinckley, and we're still working on that. But as you can imagine, in such a short time frame, it's difficult. But we're trying.
We've got to try. And the thing is, the most important thing that we try our best. That's what we've got to do. No point sitting back and going and say, oh, well, they'll knock that in. I think it's easy, respectfully, just to sit back and say, oh, well, they're going to knock that in, are they? Or whatever. Right. Whereas if we fight for it, at least, even if even if we're not successful, that we say, well, we really did try for that.
And if anybody's out there listening that can help,
yes,
please get in touch.
Anybody listening, if if you think you can help, or you know somebody with a nice big bank account, that'd be nice too. But however, and we're looking for all sorts of people that could come along and help. But at this point in time, any potential investors, who can really leave a legacy and make a difference to Hinckley, it'd be really, really good. Peter, it's been great for you coming in today. Thank you very much. And Darren, I know, does send his apologies.
He certainly does.
Let's hope he may have a little bit of news for us, who knows, later. And as I say, what we'll do probably in a few weeks' time, maybe we can have you back in and you can probably update us with how what the status of the game is then.
Yeah, look forward to it, Paul.
Okay,
That'll be a pleasure.
That's great. That's Peter Lea. He's come to talk about the Save the Regent. You can get full details on our website, www.castlemeadradio.co.uk. Go on Facebook, you can join the group, and as I said, there's also plenty of photographs up there as well. And please register your support and share it across the internet, because we really must save this absolutely wonderful building sitting down there just waiting for a brand new future.
This is Castle Mead Radio.